everyone, a warm welcome and a heartfelt namaste to one and all. Today, we are going to discuss a very interesting scenario here, the transit that is going to happen for a couple of weeks. And this is going to keep everyone so very glued in, because we see that Mercury, the lord of the third house of the natural zodiac, Gemini, moves into Gemini, where it is already being tenanted by Rahu and Mars. Rahu owns the 11th house of the natural zodiac, and Mars is the ruler for the first house and the 8th house of the natural zodiac. We have Saturn retrograde in Sagittarius, being the ruler of the 10th and the 11th houses of the natural zodiac, along with Ketu, which is the ruler of the 8th house of the natural zodiac, and Jupiter retrograde in the 8th house, ruler of 9th and the 12th houses. Well, this is a little complex, but it is very, very interesting at transit, because in all, the 3rd house and the 9th house of the natural zodiac, that is Gemini and Sagittarius, is highly afflicted. Not afflicted, it is heavy. I wouldn't call it afflictions, I'd call it heavy, and I would see a lot of area which is under influence of these two houses is working for us in our life. Now let us get on to the sukshma, or to the very core of how the nakshatras are playing, which part the nakshatras are playing for us in this kind of a situation. Rahu is in the nakshatra of Jupiter, that is in Punarvasu. Ketu is in the nakshatra of Venus, that is Purvashara, and Saturn again is in the nakshatra of Venus, that is in Purvashara. Jupiter is in the nakshatra of Mercury. Mercury is in the nakshatra of Mars, Mrigasira, and Mars is tenanting Mercury's house. A very strong relationship between Mars and Mercury can be seen, and both are ignited, or both are in a scenario where Rahu has the ability to fan them. Let's not forget, Rahu is the smoke, and Rahu adds on to their abilities of Mercury and Mars. Ketu, on the other hand, suppresses or does not allow the activities to come to the forefront. Moreover, it is associated with a retrograde planet. As I have said earlier in many of my videos, retrograde planets represent a time when they are dormant. This is the time, this is the night time, this is the resting time for such a planet. So Saturn, already in a dormant state, not willing to work hard here, or trying to regroup its activities, regroup its energy, so that when it becomes direct, once Sun has moved away from a certain Rasi, then this Saturn will come out once again, grow big, bloom, and show its effect. In the meantime, it is being very silent with Ketu and observing all that is happening in the zodiac. The best part is the lord of this house, Sagittarius, is also dormant in the nakshatra of Mercury, that is communication and intelligence. And being Jyeshta, it is all about control, it is all about supremacy. So it's regrouping its activities over there, so that once it comes direct, it will then again come show its supremacy in many positions. In all, these houses in your chart will be showing great deal of activity, especially the house of Mercury, depending on the placement of many planets in your particular chart. This is a transit chart showing that this is definitely the house that is operating at a great speed, at great levels in your chart also. So let us take this on for the Aries Lagna. For the Aries Lagna, the Lagna Lord moves into the 3rd house, and Mars is also the Karaka for the 3rd house, and it is associated with Mercury, which is the lord of this house, and Rahu, which is a factor of plentiful. This indicates a period when the person is likely to get a lot of chance to express their talents and oratory skills. This is a good time to express your feelings also, but keep it simple and not too emotional. Avoid fights or acrimonious behavior with siblings and in-laws. This time is also a good time for inner reflection, as it gives you a spiritual strength and ability to not only increase your spiritual powers but also your knowledge. This because Saturn is retrograde in your ninth house with Ketu, so you will have an ability to instinctually come up with a lot of good knowledge, would be drawn towards it, and can have success making inroads for it. So do try to plan things in that area. As we talk about Taurus, for the Taurus Lagna, you may see a sudden rise in your income from offshores, because you see the 12th Lord is associated with the second house, and it is also associated with the second Lord, and with Rahu boosting it up for you, you really do have a chance there. With the 8th Lord retrograde in your 7th house, step back for any feud that you have with your spouse, and you will be doing yourself a great favor, because this could mean litigations. This could also take you to a place where you really wouldn't want to be. So move back, take a step back, and allow things to happen. In the meantime, give yourself the ability to calculate things the way you want to be, and try to formulate plans so that you can become successful. Don't forget that your 9th Lord is retrograde in the 8th house, so it is not going to really help you win any battles with your spouse or in-laws. It is also a time when you would like to think on some traditional methods to earn a good pay and plan to implement in the coming months. A good time to start up some out-of-the-box learning so that you can have a deep insight onto it. It is best to stay away from family feuds, as they can escalate on to the next level. Mars definitely can give you wealth, it can give you knowledge, but it can also give you fighting. And with Rahu in the circuit, rest assured that this is going to just go further up. When we're talking about Gemini Lagna, we see that this Lagna and this axis is so much into a flux. A lot of things are happening both inside and the outside. The inside is wanting to move out, and the outside wants to be controlled and to be restructured. Let's not forget the first 6 houses represents the inner self, and the next 6 houses represent the outer self, the way we portray ourselves into the society. Fortunately or unfortunately, the lords of the last 6 houses are retrograde, and the first 6 house is vibrant with Rahu being present there, Mercury, another planet which wants to talk and open up, and the Lagna Lord, and Mars, a planet of exuberance that wants to show its skills. The inside may be facing marital issues or partnership challenges. Issues with staff can also be a cause of concern, which may create an unpleasant situation at work. One may find that he or she has a number of opportunities coming their way, especially to generate income, but may also not be able to take advantage of it. Is it also possible that you may feel frustrated with yourself and may fall in some disputes with family members by being too emotional. This can be best avoided by letting things pass and not react to situations. So be active, see the situation at hand, and then work on it instead of being reactive. We move on to the Cancer Lagna. For the Cancer Lagna, we see the 12th house and the 6th house are both very active. 6th house is the house of obstacles, and 12th house is the house of letting go. So we see that the Yoga Karaka is sitting in the 12th house. The Yoga Karaka is telling you that you may just need to spend some money on your children. There could also be a reason why you would want to restructure things in a manner, spending for your employees, for your business purposes, in communication, doing things that would, categorically bring about a change in your business could be one of them. It is also seen that it is time for you to regroup your policies about long-term and hereditary incomes, because your 8th lord is now sitting in the 6th house, and it is a time when you could do and understand how to regroup such income, and it is retrograde, so that you could earn more, or you could manage your expenses. Okay, it is also the time when one must learn to reshuffle and manage their expenses, as there can be a marked increase in them. It is also a time when you could be getting vivid dreams about your ancestors or loved ones, because Rahu with the 12th lord in the 12th house tends to give one a lot of dreams, very vivid ones, very explicit dreams, and you could be getting them, and your ancestors could be guiding you also through these dreams, because Mars is the lord of your 5th house of ancestors and is associated with Rahu. Please pay close attention to such dreams. You may also feel the need to visit any holy place, and this will prove beneficial for you. I would also suggest that your employees should be handled with little care here, and that would go a long way in making sure that you are safe and secure in your work. For the Leo Lagna, the 11th house and the 5th house is very operative, and it's at its active best. It is a time to think about your children and their happiness, or your happiness relating to your children. It is also a time for you to think of making peace with your partners or enemies and show compassion. And later you will find that the next transit of Saturn will then be more peaceful for you, and it will be more work oriented instead of, the time when you would be just fighting them off. Saturn is your lord of your 6th house also, and sitting in the 5th house of intelligence, it gives you the, with Ketu at the moment, it gives you, and Mars being your yoga karaka, it is pushing you to think hard on your feet and make peace with people around you who could be your hidden or open enemies, so that when the next transit of Saturn happens into your 6th house, into its own house, being both ways, a Artha house and a house of income, you could then pay all your attention to generating income, to your business or to your work, instead of making it a battlefield, because the 6th house is also the house of hidden enemies and obstacles. So to get rid of the obstacles, it's best to make friends with them, because 5th house is also the house of connectivity and congeniality. Saturn is asking you, it's in a phase where it is giving you an idea where how you can be congenial, how you can work things out to your advantage. When we're talking about Mars and Rahu and Mercury here, we can also see that Mars, again a yoga karaka, does give you a input in your income. It will give you a lot of upmarket tips for you to generate a good income for you. There's a great deal of mobility in your social life. You would be talking, interacting with people a lot, and you would be finding happiness in that. You would also find a ground where people will give you a recognition of some sort, and your abilities will be praised for a number of reasons. When we come to the Virgo Lagna, we see that the 4th house and the 10th house again is a very active axis, and there is tussle between home and work. Work will take a lot of precedence. Work is the one that requires a lot of attention, and you are forced to bring about changes in that area. There would be short journeys assigned for you, or rather you could be planning short journeys with family to rest, recuperate, because the work is taking up a lot of attention from you. And you need to pay, this is a time when very close call about your health, because it's a retrograde Saturn sitting in your 4th house of mental peace also, and your mind, and it is aspecting your house of health and hygiene, and it is asking you to take good care of it at this moment. Otherwise there could be an ailment that you have had in the past that could again resurface. Also because Rahu also aspects that house, and along with it, Mars and Mercury also shed in their own uh, rays. So with that, Mars being your eighth lord, it is making you aware that you need health should be of prime importance at that moment, with the change in business, so that you can earn good, and you can also go ahead, move on to a different level. It is a good time to think about a change in your business activities, as it could be a game changer, because you have Mars, the eighth lord, moving in your 10th house to give you an ability to portray and restructure stuff. It is also a time when you should pay close attention to what you speak, as it would make all the difference for your income and wealth generating assets. We've come halfway through to Libra. For the Libra Lagna, as the ninth and the third house axis becomes heavy, one is likely to find the like-minded people who are willing to and eager to walk on a similar path of spirituality with you. It is also a time when you feel that the divine blesses you, and your ability to connect with so many factors, so many people increases dramatically in life, and your speech would go a long way. But I would sincerely advise people to keep their own counsel to themselves. It could be seen that you would have uh, be a sense of deja vu. You may feel a strong sense of recurrence of things in your life, which are not just funny, but at times they can be really astonishing. Also, when Mars is situated with, Mercury in this house of ninth house for you, you could be trying to think out of box as far as religion or activities pertaining to spirituality are concerned. You would be thinking out of box and not probably following the tried and the tested method, but wanting to delve into something deeper and something more meaningful for you, which is different from what you have previously experienced. This is a phase which is likely to continue on for more than a week, more than 2 weeks, more than literally for the time period you will be facing Mars, Mercury together with Rahu, and that's a long time to go. So it is seriously advised that you pay attention to it and move into that phase for yourself. When we talk about the Scorpio Lagna, for the Scorpio Lagna, you have a retrograde second lord sitting right there on the Lagna with Rahu, Mars, Mercury sitting there in your 8th house. Chances of winning over a litigation are huge. This is a chance in the coming month you would feel that there's some money coming your way, which could be hereditary, which could be litigation, and you can go for the kill. So go for it. There are also chances that you will be able to ward off trouble and dissent coming your way, because the 8th house has the fighting spirit. Your Lagna Lord is sitting in the 8th house, giving you a fighting spirit against all this. But nevertheless, I would suggest that don't make it confrontational. Go slow, go through the method of communication, and go easy on it. You need to keep your irritations out of the battlefield, keep them at bay so that you can fight your battles properly. There could be important issues of children and money playing in your part, and proper planning can help you really solve up these issues. Your children, rather family, could be requiring a great deal of assistance, and how to restructure certain of money conditions with the family would also help you keep your budget very much in control. We go ahead with the Scorpio Lagna, with the Sagittarius Lagna. Again, like it was with the Gemini Lagna, Sagittarius Lagna is also on a 1/7 axis, ruling the roost for a couple of times, very active axis. The thing is, the inner you is lethargic. The inner you does not want to make an effort, but there is compelling outside forces that are making you work, because the fifth lord of gains, of sudden gains, and fifth lord of children require your moving into the public front. The seventh lord of partners wanting you to be very active, proactive, and Rahu being in your seventh house, there is a call for change, there is a call for dynamism, and there's a call for communication there. As your seventh lord and fifth lord find assistance of Rahu, and the Lagna lord is retrograde in the 12th house, you may find that you need not get entangled in any fight with them. They ask you to do things, go ahead, because it will do you a great favor. One, it will keep your peace and control in mind, and secondly is you will find that it benefits you. You were supposed to do this and you do that, and it will benefit you. So go ahead and do it. Small matters could escalate to big issues, so please be careful, as Mercury is also your Badaka lord, and Mars is your 12th lord. So in a nutshell, don't fight, just do it, it'll help. It is a time for you to restructure your earning schemes, because it's your fifth lord sitting in the 7th house, okay? And so it'll putting them onto your with Rahu, putting them onto a public platform, earnings will come and at a good pace. Also, the second lord is retrograde in the Lagna, so you need to think about it, keep thinking and regrouping, so that your seventh lord will automatically grow. Spend some on employee benefits also, so that it increases your productivity in the long run, because the 10th lord is there in the 7th house and spend with the 12th lord. So this spending on your employees will help you, and Jupiter is also retrograde in your 12th house. That means doing good to others, for others. We come to the Capricorn Lagna. As the 6th bar 12 axis becomes heavy for the Capricorn Lagna, it is time when you start to show potential as a professional, because the 6th house is the house of gains, and the 6th house, in the 6th house, where let's get this straight, that Rahu is very strong in the 6th house, and people having Rahu in the 6th house have the ability to pass a lot of competitive exams without any failure. Moreover, when you have Mars, which is the lord of the 4th house for you and the 11th house for you, sitting in the 6th house, aspecting the Lagna also with its 8th aspect, and Mercury also being your 6th lord sitting there, either you can have obstacles. If you're not working, you can find obstacles from co-workers, or you can go out, be a dynamic personality, and showcase your talents to the world at large. Difference of opinions is the norm of life. It is the way of life, and so you should understand it, and you should keep it that way. You need not go around proving your point to others, because that could get you in a mess. You are likely to win debates, you're likely to win a lot of areas of life that is very, very conducive for you, but trying too hard to prove your points can actually get you in a very wrong and a sorry place. So stay away from that. You may have to prepare for some trip or expenditure when Saturn goes direct, and think about it. At this moment, you might be saving, you might be paying on expenses which are old, which should have been like an old premium that you did not pay. You could be made to pay it up, so that later on it does not escalate to be a big bill. Now is the time for deep contemplation and to understand the working of karma and karmic effects, because your Lagna lord is retrograde in the 12th house for you, and the 12th lord is also retrograde. The Lagna lord is aspected by the lord of obstacles for you, and from the house of obstacles. So you need to see why you're facing these obstacles and what is the best method you can do to overcome these obstacles. So you need to go into a little contemplation, and it will help you tide up a lot of things in your life for you. We come to the Aquarius Lagna. As the 5/11 axis becomes active, For Aquarius Lagna, one would do good to work on their mantras and also way of improving the learning abilities. It is a time when you're likely to find luck in lottery. But let me get this, there's a disclaimer attached to this. This will purely depend on the placement of Rahu in your chart. If you have Rahu in your 3, 6, 10 to 11, then it's likely that you could win a lottery. Or siblings can help you in your creative work. Siblings can also give you an input, and your creativity being on a great high, it could also be a time when you would want to pen certain things down and easily be able to do it. So go ahead and do it. They could be inner thoughts which have been there for such a long time. You need to probably sit down, contemplate, see what's been floating in your mind, so that you can put it in pen and paper, and it does you a lot good. It is also a time when your children could be doing well. All they need is someone to keep a firm lid on it. Yes, the 5th house is a little boisterous at the moment for you. So all you need to do is learn how to control and not lose your lid over it. It is a good time to think and rethink about your research and how to present it. Because in the 11th house, you have a retrograde lord, and the 11th lord is retrograde. A good combination for you. So think along these lines. This is a time when you would actually be able to make out the difference between acquaintances and friends and keep it as such. Contemplate and understand the people who would do you good for your work. Finally, we come to the Pisces Lagna. For the Pisces Lagna, the 4-10 axis again, but now the 10th house is a little on the slow ride, whereas the 4th house is raring to go and hot as ever. Because you, in the 10th house, you have a fiery planet Ketu with a gaseous planet Saturn. Structural reforms based on ethics and age-old values will be in your list of to do, and you need to get away with any old system which has already served its purpose. It is likely that your expenditures may have exceeded beyond your estimations, or but on the long run, go ahead with it, because you are likely to gain from it. You're going to be happy about it. There's a lot of work and motion going in and around the house, your home front, and this requires a full lot of attention for you. You have your family, the ruler of your family, that is your 2nd house lord sitting there, Mercury, the 4th lord, your mother, your happiness at home with Rahu. So it's like totally busy at the moment, and it needs a lot of work from you. It needs your full attention, and that can take you away from work a great deal of it. So this was for all the lagnas. Now we're coming to another section, and that is the transit this week. We see Sun moving from Rohini Nakshatra to Mrigasira Nakshatra. Having established certain things, it's again in a new search. Moon is moving from Kritika to Purva Phalguni in a week's time. Mars moves from Adra to Punarvasu, 1st pada. Mercury moves from Mrigasira, 3rd pada, to Adra, 3rd pada. Rahu in this time is in full swing, with so many planets being associated with it. Jupiter moves in from, it's very still moving back and slowly, and it's in Jeshta, again retrograding back in Jeshta itself. Venus moves from Kritika 1st to Kritika 3rd, and Saturn again is in the retrograde phase, very much linked together with Ketu, and very much in the 4th pada of Sagittarius Purvashara. Rahu, in the other hand, is in Gemini in Punarvasu, where it is coming in a very close contact with Mars, nearly where, just 3, 4, 5 degrees away from. By the end of this week, it would be just 4 or 5 degrees away from Mars, and that could be a volatile time for people around. So they need to have a very close lid, shut up with the words that you're using. Think, rethink before you speak, because the house of communication is just catching fire. When we move on to the good days of the week, we see that the 4th of this June is, that is a Tuesday, is a good day to begin with, and 6th June, Friday, is another good day where you could say Thursday. 6th June is Thursday, and you could be doing not good to start things on this day. So with Rahu, which is one of the karmic controlled planets, being the central planet this week, a lot of things that are happening could seem to be out of hand, but nevertheless will be something that you were destined to do. Accept it for what it was, and then go ahead planning things out. Till we meet again, take care of yourselves, and the best way to propinate Rahu is worshipping goddess Durga. Till we meet again, stay safe, stay happy.